Hey, folks, Russ Bailey here. It's time for another BrushPile Fishing, the podcast and video podcast. And as always, we've got another great guest in store coming to you from Dale Hollow, Tennessee, with the best guide that I know on the lake by far, Corey Thomas. Corey, how we doing?
Doing good, Russ, man. Doing great.
I'll tell you what, man, just got off the phone with Kent Driscoll and did a little talking to him. And we talked about being at Denny's place and the last media camp we had there, a good time. But right now we're going to talk some summertime fishing because I have been watching some of your videos on Facebook and everything. And brother, you're on a pretty neat summer pattern right now down there.
Pretty cool, man. Last year these fish weren't really acting like this. It's a little different this year. And it took me a minute to really get dialed into it and quit beating my head up against the wall. But, the fish, they're not, last year they were wanting a real big bait like the slab magnet, and they were really keyed up on big alewife shad, and they were really coming after the bait, 10, 15 feet away to come and get it. This year, 100% different, which is kind of interesting, though. You're talking to Kent. I was talking to him about 2 days ago and talked to Matt Foster last night, and it's kind of a phenomenon that's going across a lot of different parts of the country is these fish are real lethargic and they just won't chase a jig. So finally, I've been downsizing everything, using a slip bobber, and we're fishing these fish 18 to 20 foot deep over top of isolated structure. I'm using a lot of mossback racks, some small trees and stuff, and there's a lot of bait around, but I'm using a slip bobber and a minnow and just hanging it there, and you have to sit there for about 30 seconds, and then they just get it.
20 foot down. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, thermocline's setting up. So everything revolves around the thermocline this time of year, at least on these lakes up here. And, that's where the fish are where the bait's at, and the bait's happy right there, and the fish are real happy there right there along with them.
Now, when you talk about a slip cork, you're talking a pretty big cork, correct?
Yeah. Let me show you, man. So the setup I'm using the 75 series, and I'm also using the 8-foot diamond. And what I'm doing is this is like a Thill professional series, like a 125. It's one of their bigger corks. It's really pretty much like a walleye slip bobber. And what I'm doing is I started off earlier on in the week using like a slip or a big split shot. And when some of these big fish, I was noticing I was getting a little nick in the line, and we actually broke the line on a couple fish. So what I've done, I'm going to just an egg sinker. And this is on this one, it's a 16th, but really this is an 8th. I've really decided a quarter is the perfect weight on this particular bobber. And I just wrap the line through it, about 3 times and peg it on there. And then I'm using a number 4 Aberdeen. I mean, a tiny hook.
That's small.
Yeah, it's really too small for these fish. And when we're catching 2 pound, we had 4 over 2 yesterday or a day before yesterday. And it's kind of scary, but we're using little bitty minnows, and that number 4 hook is key to get to where they can swim with it. And the whole point of this setup, Russ, is most people have no idea. They would think, you want a smaller slip bobber with a little bit of weight to really finesse them, but you need this bigger bobber and a bigger weight to get, number one, get the bait down there and keep it down there, 20 foot. But what it does is the compression of that weight. And about 90% of my bites right now the fish are swimming up with it. What you do is when you have a heavier weight on there, compresses this down. When that fish swims up with it, boom, it pops up on its side. It's the same as going under. You're guaranteed you'll catch them every time. So, and you have to put this bait within probably 2 to 3 inches of their nose. So this isn't your grandpa slip bobber, and where you're just hitting up there against the bank and watching for it to go under a foot deep. We're precision guiding that bait right within inches of that fish's nose, and we're just watching him. You'll see him come up, nose up to it, and then he'll grab it, swim up, bobber lays on the side, set the hook, done deal.
So I'm taking, since you've got to be right on their nose, you're using live scope for this technique also.
Yeah, I've actually got 2 live scopes now. So now even in the wind, I'm spot locking into the wind. I'm fishing off with a second live scope. I put both my clients up front. I've got it networked to a big graph on my console. So I sit up there, put my feet up, tell them they're getting ready to get bit, and pick up their slack and get ready. And then it goes.
I'll tell you what, we have got a show scheduled here in August. We're going to do it with our good buddy Mark from Garmin. What's the chances we can do a show on this technique?
I think they're pretty good, man. I think it's pretty good that we'll either do this or right now the fish are not spooky. I can get about 20 feet away and really, it's really fun. It's relaxing. You pitch it out there, and we present it. We watch it drop to them, and just sit there and wait. But I think pretty good chances we might be doing this in August.
Oh, that would be a blast, because that's something completely different.
Yeah.
And that's what we're all about, doing different techniques, as many as we can do on the show.
Right.
And, now, Corey, let's fast forward a little bit. You and I have done some shows, of course, in a little bit cooler weather.
Right.
We're in July now. Okay.
Yeah.
September, it's going to start cooling down, especially in the nighttime. What kind of patterns do you like to fish in the fall down there at Dale Hollow?
Well, it's a little tricky, Russ. You know, people start thinking fall patterns start in September and October. Down there, the fish are still going to be in a summer pattern all the way to probably mid to late October. So in September and October, you know, we got the big tournament coming up down there, and there's going to be a lot of people down there practicing. And, you know, these fish are going to be offshore, isolated brush piles. These mossbacks work great, man. You get them out there on a flat in the middle of the lake where nobody's, I mean, you're out there, they're like, what the heck is that guy doing? Well, I know. And these fish will really pile up right on top of it. So you'll see the pile down there, and then about 5 feet above it, you'll see about 10 foot of fish, like 50 fish just on top of the pile. And a lot of times we're live scoping, pitching it, casting at them, and letting it just pendulum down, or like I'm doing now, slip bobbering. So these fish will be offshore. Right now I'm fishing a lot of offshore stuff. You can hardly even see the bank on a lot of these spots we're fishing. I really like that. You know, it's really hard stuff to find if you don't know where it's at. But and then, you know, our real transition to what I consider the fall pattern doesn't happen to probably November. And it's always cracks me up, because the deer hunters don't like it, but my favorite week of the year to fish is open week of gun season. So so they really stack up on the river channel. And if you've got some strategically placed trees and brush on the river channel, it gets real.
Now, you talked about the big shootout tournament coming down there in November. Do you want to like give any coordinates out or anything right now to everybody?
Nah, they're going to have to. Hey, they're not going to let me fish. So they're going to have to come by it the hard way, just like I did.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Yeah. It's going to be an tournament. And I'm going to go ahead and go on record and predict you're going to see a 3-pound fish caught.
There's going to be some good anglers down there, and I can see that.
You're going to see a 3-pounder caught.
Well, and you got all those fish in November. They're going to be fattening up for winter. You got some of the best anglers in the country.
They listened to my advice, and once again, they scheduled that forward open week of gun season down here. So the fish are going to be healthy. They're going to stay. We're going to keep them alive. Hopefully, we're not going to kill any of them. And the fish, it's going to be fun.
Now, Corey, you're not still hanging around that Denny Wilbert guy down there, are you?
Yeah, he's out there walleye fishing right now.
Go figure. Folks, if you've never been to Dale Hollow, or you've been there and you want to make another trip, give Denny a call. Man, I'll tell you what, not only is his places that you can stay awesome, but you talk about a man that will bend over backwards to make sure you have a good trip Denny's it.
Well, you're in for a treat in August, man, because I got the floating cabin reserved for us.
Awesome.
And, you don't have too much going on, because I went ahead and got it for an extra couple days and told Mark, since he's coming all this way, we're gonna get on for a couple more days after we film the show.
Well, so, I'll just let Joe the camera know it's all business. It's all business.
There you go, all business. No fun. No fun will be had by us.
Corey, before we take off, if someone is interested in booking a trip with you, how can they get in touch with you?
Couple ways. Facebook's a really good way. You can message me, Lake Days Guide Service, or you can just give me a call at 270-566-1152.
And folks,
I'm pretty much booked solid till December 31st.
No kidding.
We'll be booking for next year, but better go ahead and call now, because it's gonna fill up quick for next year too.
And of course, folks, one of the easiest ways to book a trip with Corey is to get that absolutely free BrushPile companion app on your phone, whether it's Android or Apple. You go to the guide section. First of all, you want to watch some shows that Corey did with us, so you can do that on the app. Then you go to our guide section. It'll give Corey's bio, tell where he guides, what he does, and then you can actually contact him right through the app, and everything is free. How's that, Corey?
Great, man. And I'll be working on some really cool content of actually what we're talking about. I'm trying to put together a little something for you guys on the app that where actually shows you everything. I've got the live scope footage. I've got I got the fish turning that bobber on the side and me catching them. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Don't show too much because we're going to do that show in August. Seriously, I cannot wait. And I hope that bike's still on like that. And I think Mark will have a blast too. And we've got to go. We are going to get Mark from Garmin, the biggest crappie he's ever caught. We're doing it
again.
So I'll tell you what, Corey, I appreciate you joining us, man. It's always good talking to you. It's better when we're out on the water fishing, but I'll tell you what, man, great information and a little tease on what our next show could be about. I appreciate it, buddy.
It's coming soon, buddy. I'll be ready.
That's Corey Thomas from Dale Hollow, folks. Give him a call. I fished with him several times now, and I can tell you this, you will not be disappointed. Not only is the fishing great there, but he's great company, awesome to talk to. And just like Denny, he's going to make sure he's going to do everything he can to make sure you got a good trip on the water. Corey, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, pal, man.
All right, buddy. Corey Thomas from Dale Hollow. And folks, before we close out, I'd like to thank our sponsors for the BrushPile Fishing Show. First of all, B&M Rod Company, Cornfield Fishing Gear, Crappie Magnet, Driftmaster Rod Holders, I Hold Jig Company, Easy Drift Trolling Systems, Garmin Depth Finders, Hook and Bullet Sunglasses, of course, Mossback Fish Habitat, which Corey talked about, and we're going to fish over some. Offshore Tackle Company, Power Pole, Slime Line Fishing Line, and War Eagle Boats. Corey, have a good one, my friend, and keep guiding, brother.
Yeah, man. See you soon.
All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned because we'll be back with another BrushPile Fishing, the podcast.